welcome back, or welcome if you've never been here before. Today, I'm giving you a reading vlog. I'm very excited because I am now in Maui. I'm sorry about the background noise, but I find it soothing, and I really wanted to do this intro now before the trip gets away from me. Today, me and my brother are doing the road to Hana. So I want to run down the books that we're going to read, and I think the first is definitely going to be, again, The Magic by Lisa Kleypas. This is a classic I have yet to get to, and I know it's going to be perfect for today because we're going to be making multiple stops. We're going to be in the car. I'll be able to spend time with it, and I'm just so freaking excited. Next, I want to read Brutal Vows by Cate. Spider had unrequited feelings in the last book, so I'm so interested in seeing what's going to make him fall. I finally read the blurb because I got the physical copy of the book, and I had no idea that Reina was called the Black Widow. So I think she's going to be a worthy opponent, and I'm itching. I really had to refrain from reading that on the plane here. The last book I know I want to read is Eyes on Me by Sara. This is the second book in her Salacious Players Club. I loved Praise, and I believe this is a stepbrother romance. And I know from the first book that he is a voyeur, so I'm very excited about all these reads. Let's just get into it. I will be back when I have thoughts. I'm not even that far into this book, and I don't even know how to contain my feelings about it. I expected this to be like a slow build, but this romance has started out at the zenith with this connection that can never be fully realized because McKenna is a stable boy, Aileen is a lady, and it's like the social construct of class is so weighted, and yet it's so meaningless in light of what they've already found in each other. This is already so romantic. They start out as childhood friends, and it grows into adolescent lovers. And then it feels as if there's this undercurrent of longing. Aileen, in the very beginning, she tells him that he is the one for her, that she's willing to give up her future plans that have already been mapped out for her, and that she wants to run away with him, and he loves her enough to tell her no. And it's just the self-restraint and the scalding need that boils over. It's just so freaking much, and I don't want to continue. I don't want the levee to break. I don't want the bubble to burst, because I know that the rug is going to be pulled from underneath me. Like, the father has already put down his gavel. He's already told her that he found out that they were in the stables together. He's already threatened to use all of his influence to ruin McKenna. And in true form, for Aileen, who's always protected him since she was a child, does what she can do to broker the best deal out of this impossible situation. But that involves her sending him away, telling him that she no longer loves him, and I'm not ready for it at all. They are going to be husks of human beings without each other, and he's going to be riddled with resentment. Oh, this is already just so freaking romantic. This feels like romance. This is what I want to get lost in, and I'm really freaking scared about the next part. I know I'm going to get my HEA, but I feel like my heart is going to be stomped on the way to get there. So I will be back when I have more thoughts, but this is already absolutely incredible. I'm not even to chapter 5 yet, so I will be back. I survived the emotional scalpel that is their separation, and I died when McKenna returns years later, over a decade. And I've said it before, but my favorite thing, one of them within a romance, is when the main character can feel their person before even seeing them. And before she even knows that the dark-haired man is McKenna, she can feel him, and he feels her in return. He physically twitches before he crosses the threshold of the home and just knows that she's watching and locks eyes with her from the window. It's everything. His quest to bed and ruin her, to assuage his years of torment as revenge, is something that I can get behind. And it's a game that she's willing to play because she wants to steal back a moment that was robbed from her. And she just doesn't know what she's going to do when he leaves again. And she's willing to make that risk. And there's so much about this that I love. From the social commentary on all of the social class conversations around mobility, since McKenna was in America and was able to fashion himself into a man of success, to all of the side characters that I am fully invested in. Miss Faircloth, the housekeeper, is so warm and nurturing for both of them. And Gideon, in all of his duality, he's a rake and a drunkard, yet he's at the helm of his legacy. He's a scoundrel, but he's also gentlemanly in his advice to McKenna about his revenge. And he's a scoffer of love, but he's willing to do anything that he can to just steal a moment with Lady Livia. I'm loving this. I'm lost in this, and I'll be back. Gosh, the reveal on Aileen's scars is so heartbreaking because they're not just cosmetic. They cause her physical and emotional anguish. And I love that despite them, she still demonstrates excellence. The way in which she takes care of people, her being this amazing hostess, and although I believe part of it is probably to, self-soothe and get herself out of her own soul sickness and everything that she's lost. I still love that about her. She's so capable and kind. And I also really liked the scene between her and her brother, where she's talking about the value of women being in their beauty, because she has to withstand all of these declarations carried out by her family, her brother and her sister, about how intellect and character matters, and her scars, don't diminish her. Yet I love how she notes that even her brother, the most honorable man that she knows, even he will spout off about intellect and character factoring more than beauty. Yet he, even when choosing his paramours, they must have pristine features. It is their beauty that has garnered his rapt attention. It is their beauty that gives them some sort of credit towards their mental misfortunes. And had it not been for their beauty, they would be bankrupt. They would not be given the same sort of leniency and attention. And so it's because of that Aileen finds her scars to be of shame. And also, I think it makes sense that she wouldn't want to come to the love of her life less than perfect. In her mind, even if McKenna accepted them, he would be trapped in pity, and it just breaks my heart. I'm also enjoying, Gideon and Livia. Not once have I felt like, I want to go back to the main romance. Hold on, I'll let it go by. I've never once been annoyed or felt like, I want to go back to the main romance. They're just as compelling. It is so gratifying to read her be coaxed out of her isolation and grieving of a long lost love, and for him, it's such a mature relationship. It's such a fun liaison to read about. And there's this moment that I love so much when they're in the height of it. She's accepted this. They've gone all in. And he's starting to come live to his feelings for her. And she's honest with him that she could never be with somebody in active alcoholism. She doesn't want to watch him depreciate over time and have that wane because she cares. And he says something to the effect of, I'm not tabbing right now. Okay, you know me, I had to find it. He says, just take me as I am. And she responds by saying, if I didn't care for you so, I would. Because she knows that he has to do it for himself. And she's not asking him to make any changes for her. Oh my gosh, it's just so freaking good. I'm sorry for giving a play-by-play, but this book is just so romantic. And there is a lot of angst, but it's just burning longing, and I'm loving everything about it. I will wrap it up and get into the next book, because I think I've given a lot of updates on this one, but I just wanted to document every single moment. I'd have to thank my brother, me stopping so that I could just read, and all the B-roll. He's been so amazing. I will be back when I have more thoughts, and I cannot wait to start Brutal Vows. I might come back after I've started that. See you soon.
not even that far along, okay? I'm in the 4th chapter, well, 5th, okay? I have thoughts on this meet cute. I want to start out by saying, as I get further along into this book, I'm not gonna get granular. This just came out. I don't want to spoil anything. But at this point, I really can't, okay? And I'm going to discuss what I think about this meet cute. If you don't even want to hear that, if you want to go in blind, because I was able to. I didn't even know what kind of heroine we were gonna be dealing with until I read the back of this book. So click out if you don't want to hear anything at all. But if this meet cute is any indication as to what we will be getting, I know I'm gonna be getting banter that's a cut above verbal sparring, which I love so much. But here, sparring feels like practice in child's play. This is like death by 1,000 cuts. I mean, they're throwing daggers at the jugular and I absolutely love it. This follows Spider. He is the enforcer and Declan's right-hand man of the Irish mafia. He has agreed to enter into this arranged marriage with the Italian mafia, I believe Costa Nostra. And he's okay with doing that. You know, there's some drama in the last book. There was some unrequited feelings. And so he's fine with hanging up love and carrying out his duty to demonstrate his loyalty. And the problem is, okay, that his soon-to-be bride, Lily, is the niece of Reina. Reina, who, had she been born a freaking man, she would be running shit for the Italian mafia. Instead, she's dealing with a man-child of a brother. He's a buffoon, okay? She can run mental laps, and so far, I suspect lethal ones around him. And he's more concerned with his ascension than he is for his own daughter. And so Reina is standing in the gap. She will not let her niece fall into the same trap that she was, which was marriage. And it hasn't been revealed, but it is immensely felt that she survived an abusive marriage with a monster and barely got out with her life. It was either hers or his, and we see who won. And so I really enjoyed how her brother already in the very beginning is trying to manage Reina, because that told me that she's a force to be reckoned with and she doesn't have time to set the pieces on her chessboard, okay? She just knows that Spider is there and ready to meet Lily. And the way that JT describes the first time he sees her, I just freaking loved it. He describes Reina's glance as one of a warlord, okay? And she's packing curves that all men would gleefully go into battle to experience. I just love that. And the way that she describes him as being big with tattoos and like wrapped in this clean black suit. She instinctually knows that he will be the death of her family. Which now I'm like, the Grim Reaper and the Warlord. I freaking love to see it. Their meet cute is everything. Very quickly, Spider's done dealing with the freaking prop and wants to speak to the puppeteer. He has clocked that Reina's really the one that's in charge. And I just love how he goats her ire. It's like he wants the tongue lashing. He wants her venom. And she's not at all impressed by this Irishman who has come in acting like he owns shit and making orders that she does not follow. Oh, I love them so much. And I love their meet cute because you already know that Reina is not the type of woman that gets rattled, and he does that. She's impenetrable and he wants in. And I love how he catches her off guard. I don't even really know how to articulate her. She has this sort of cruel and dark humor, and she's also, I wouldn't say like intimidating, off-putting, exhausting though, even, because she's so incredibly like witty and has this demeanor of don't fuck with me. And it's like the cadence of their banter, the heat is always on. And I'm already loving what this is telling me, okay? And I have no idea when I'm gonna be able to read this. Today, I'm very glad that it is on KU because I can kind of bounce back from like the physical copy and the ebook. I know today I'm gonna be hiking the Pipiwai trail with my brother. That's like 2 miles up and we gotta come back down. And so although I am just so thankful to my brother, he has been very encouraging about me just like saying what I need to say, when I need to say it, no matter where we're at, where I prefer to be in a contained space because of noise. This trip's really not allowing for that to happen. So I'll probably get most of this done in the car and come to you when I have more thoughts. Maybe it will be on the trail, maybe not. But I'm loving this so far. And like I said, I'm not that far in. I promise not to spoil anything and just hit broad strokes. And I'll go even broader because I know I have a tendency to go in. But this is already so captivating. And if I did not have some excursion plan today, I probably would just devour it from beginning to end. So I am very pleased with this heroine. She is fierce, she's protective, and she is going to be a worthy opponent to what Spider does not want, which is love. And it seems as though her greatest fear, I wouldn't say it's a fear because she's really seems like she is the master of her own universe, although she is beholden to the whims of men. And I think that's her resentment. She wants to save her niece from that. And so she wields the control that she has the way that she can. And I already freaking love her. So I will be back when I have more thoughts from wherever I'm at. See you soon. Okay, I'm trying to contain myself. I'm also sweating balls. I need to put this swimsuit back on and get ready for snorkeling. But I wanted to come to you first. I'm going to make good on my promise to not spoil anything. But I will say, I am enjoying how JT alludes to the ways in which they are equals and how that's always surprising for the both of them. They are both survivors, but in very different ways. And I really enjoyed being shown the skills that Spider has acquired as an enforcer. I mean, he is capable and in control. And Reina is like aloof, lethal, and I just loved seeing her abilities on the page. It was freaking badass. And I just love how he cannot help himself when he is around her, despite all of his protests to ever fall for anyone ever again. It's like he has to crowd her physically and emotionally to like goat some sort of response as if it's validating for him. I just love the chemistry between them, the reluctant chemistry between them. And I will also say that I thoroughly enjoyed how do I say this? They are forced into further proximity with each other. I like how it is bound up in their greatest fears and how they're placed in a position to do what they vowed to never. And I also want to say the biggest highlight for me at this point is the reveal on the extent of Reina's trauma. I kind of want to read a quote. I think I want to read you a quote of Reina's mother describing her because it speaks volumes, and I also won't have to expound on particulars. So let me pull that up really quick because I have it right here. I'm like fresh off the page. Okay, this is Reina's mother describing her. She might not be sweet, all that was carved out of her, but once a heart has been hollowed out by knives, it can withstand anything. Reina is a fierce powerhouse of survival. And when Spider witnesses the full weight of her persistence and of her pain and her prowess to get out, he bows before her and doesn't let her shy away from her need and her desire for him. Oh my God, this is so freaking good. This is so good. I'm going to continue. I am going to go snorkeling, and I will be back with final thoughts. Again, I will refrain from getting granular, but I think this might be my favorite of this series so far. We will see how it ends up, but I'm loving every freaking second of it. I truly am. I highly suggest you pick it up, or at least start with the series. The Mafia Romance Readathon is coming up. Hopefully this is up before that or during. It should be. So pick them up, okay? I'll be back. I finished Brutal Vows, but before I talk about this, I need to wrap up again the magic. Oh my gosh. So I am going to do that because there is one scene in particular that reminded me that I did not. And that has to do with the steam in this freaking book. I simply cannot. The fear and the need in this, it's just so palpable. It feels like, at least for McKenna, the subtext for him is, can he subjugate her like he has been for all of these years? It's like he can't get his fill. It's like he can't quench that thirst, that need to grasp and make up for all of the moments that were lost between them. And when he finds out that his plan to, how do I say, take the scraps that he believes that she's casting off to him because he isn't good enough, his plan to take those scraps and repurpose them to ruin her is shattered when he finds out that he is the only man that she's ever been with. At that point, it is the rage that is stoked within him because it's not adding up. All of the years of them being apart, all of the reasons for why they should be together, for why they are equals. If it's not someone else, then why aren't they together? Oh, and I love the moment when he tells her that she will pay off her debts to him on her back and on her knees. Woo! I was shook and sated, okay? I hung on to every single word in a very pivotal, steamy moment between them, because it's almost like she's straddling vulnerability, okay? This is a risk for her because of her scars of shame that she's trying to hide. How is she going to engage in this between him and not be fully seen? It's that coupled with this feeling of her like coming up for air because she finally gets to be with him. I'm trying to figure out how to describe what's like reeling in my brain. It's like almost as if the moment is weighted in a multitude of ways, weighted in that it's heightened because they're finally going to be together in this way, and weighted in that she is so painfully aware of what she's trying to hide from him. You know, the moments when her garters are slipping and she doesn't want him to see her scars, when her scars are pinching and like warring against the moment, trying to rob her of it, and she still tries to snatch and take the leap. It's so freaking good. And for her to go from that to where she lands in the end, in terms of his perception of what she let stand between them, it is so beautiful. This book is absolutely 5 stars. Like, I was in just full rapture and elation from the very beginning. I love it. And like I said, I also love Livia and Gideon's romance as well. I like the epilogue in this, and I'm game on for the rest of the series. Like, I can't believe it took me this long to pick this up. I loved every second of it. I'm very excited for what's to come, and just to get through these classics that I've just been holding on to. Like, I need to just read them. I'm done holding on to them. Like I said, I finished Brutal Vows, and like I said and promised, I will not get detailed. I will just say I thoroughly enjoyed how this is a very like seasoned and mature romance, in that this is the first time love later in life for both of them. And I love the boots on the ground, so to speak, when it comes to the practicalities of them actually being together. Also the politics of it, and how they are two characters with immense trauma trying to figure out how to work through that and to accommodate that in the other, and the way that they showcase their devotion to each other. It's just so freaking good. What comes out of this, Reina is an absolute queen in more than one way. And I also loved Spider in this book. I like his little, I'm not going to call it a kink, but there's like one thing I really appreciated in this is sort of role reversal, and how there were so many laugh out moments that I had in this when it came to the steam, because there are things that I enjoy, okay, within a steamy moment that I also live for, and that Reina does not enjoy, or that she sort of like scoffs at and makes fun of. And I really liked that topsy-turvy additive in that. And, you know, how she's able to fulfill a need for Spider in that way as well. This was so much fun. It was moving, and it's my absolute favorite in the series. What a way to close it out. I'm just like, I'm smitten. I almost think I want to read it for the Mafia Romance Readathon. Like, it's that good. I loved this. I am going to pick up Eyes on Me. I believe we're going to Kihei tomorrow. We're gonna hit some beaches. So I should have plenty of time to read that. I don't have that much time left on this island, but I will be back when I have more thoughts. So I am at the beach. I'm 20% the way into Eyes on Me, and Garrett is already caught up. I will say, in terms of this setup, I really appreciate getting some backstory as to where Garrett was emotionally and in terms of purpose when the idea for the Salacious Players Cup was born. Because he was rudderless and in need of the lifeline that business idea was and absolutely is for him now. I liked seeing that depth because he was very comedic and very cavalier in the last book. And so knowing that this business has given him purpose and he feels useful and needed, I enjoyed that additive, as well as the representation for depression. I too have struggled with depression. And so the way that she's describing his as this sort of undercurrent, and how, you know, his work with the club really serves as a routine to ground him. And although it does involve people, it's not at all social in his mind because it's something that he can control, and how he describes really needing to isolate and not, you know, wanting to be around the friends that know and love him so much because he knows that they're going to try to coax him out of that corner. I really like the representation for depression, and especially with a character like Garrett, because he's almost the life of the party. You know, he's that gregarious and comedic friend. And I like that she's shining light on how we don't really know what people are dealing with behind closed doors. So outside of that, okay, this is a stepsister romance where, you know, Garrett hasn't been home in a while. His family is guilting him into coming and enjoying their vacation home. He hasn't been there because he's not trying to cross paths with his younger stepsister. Growing up, he describes her as a spoiled princess that has sucked the life out of his parents in terms of attention, and he doesn't want to spar with her. So he's always sort of separated himself from their family gatherings. And now he's willing to go back home because he feels guilty. His father is struggling with cancer, and so he just wants to make good on the time that he has with them. And also, I think he enjoys goading Mia. You know, on her end, there is definitely some intense pining, and it's almost as if she hates herself for it because she knows she could never admit it, because she knows that he would never let her live it down. And they have this very like tit for tat relationship. It's not really hate, it's more of a nuisance, okay? That's more of pulling teeth, not letting the other off of the hook. And so I'm very interested in what I'm seeing so far. Things escalate and get out of hand. You know, Garrick stumbles across a reveal about her, which is the fact that she's a cam girl, and he ends up, you know, on her page, paying for a private room with the inability to look away and this incessant need to continue watching. And almost possession as well, not wanting her to be seen by anybody else. And they have a connection that they can't have in person, one-to-one, face-to-face. She's unable to see him on this app, and they're able to talk, and he gets a side of her that he doesn't get in person. And I'm already seeing this become an addiction for him. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work out, you know, him being privy to this part of her and keeping it a secret. Also, if she's going to be opening up, since they've already been able to make ground in these private chats. She does give a little bit of herself. There's a persona, but she gives a little bit of herself in these sessions. And so I'm interested to seeing how he navigates that and how the big reveal is going to happen. And that's all I'm going to say. I will try to not get granular from here on out, but I'm enjoying the opening. I'm enjoying the setting of my reading. It's gorgeous. I don't know if you can see that. I came down here so that I could have some quiet to fill you in, but I will be back when I have more thoughts. Bye. I am not sure how the audio is going to be for this one because I am filming on my phone, but I have an update on Eyes on Me. And I find it very interesting because normally in a step-sibling romance, I'm always focused on the absence of their familial bond. They're not blood related, okay? They weren't raised together, all of those things. And, you know, with Garrett and Mia, there is an age gap, and that definitely applies. But I find it interesting that it is the fact that they're step siblings in a way that bond between them that makes Garrett or allows him to be so comfortable with her. He vacillates between seeing her as a woman and then using the fact that she is his stepsister to be the reason for his possessiveness, and then also be the reason for why he pushes her away. And yet, she's the only woman that he has felt comfortable with in a very long time. And with Mia, although she can't stand the way that he plays games with her emotions and can't stand the way in which he sort of teases her and is a nuisance, she trusts him. And I think it's those like milestone moments that they've witnessed each other have work towards that. Also, this time that they have together at the lake house is, oh, it's just one of these like stolen moments, this sort of insatiable need. They open Pandora's box. They're almost getting to know each other for the first time. And it's also interesting that all of the emotional work seems to be done through that Camgirl app. You know, Garrett is closed off emotionally, yet he can share things about himself as he's, you know, donning that identity of Drake. And she too can open up about her feelings on Garrett to Drake, not knowing that that's who she's speaking to. And so I'm still very interested in seeing how that is revealed and what that's going to do, obviously, in the third act. But again, I really like the conversation centered around Garrett's mental health. It is the main reason why he feels like he could never be good enough for her, let alone believe that love is possible, that one could accept another's demons, that love could actually last. He even makes commentary, you know, on Emerson, his best friend, in the romance that we had in Praise, and how he doesn't believe it will last. And so this is a very sexy
spicy story, but it's also kind of heavy. There's some heavier topics. And like I said, I like the conversation around that. Um, and the game that he's playing with her. I'm still trying to dissect my feelings about that because mm, he's a voyeur and he's clocked that she's a bit of an exhibitionist and he's sort of coaxing that out of her and she's enjoying, like, reveling in this moment where she actually gets to be with Garrett and trying desperately not to. My bad. I think I was talking about Mia not wanting to get her heart involved when it came to Garrett and their sexy games. So my phone cut off halfway through what I was saying, and the big poignant moment in that clip was me telling you that unfortunately I'm on my way home. I really don't want to leave this island, but I have to. We are currently in the airport right now, about to head out. So I am not going to finish that update here because it is loud. There's announcements, you know, the whole bit. But I will finish this while I'm on the plane and update you when I get home. It will have a less tropical but more familiar background. I made it back home. It does feel good to be back, but it was really hard to leave that beautiful freaking island. And in terms of like reads, the pages that I have read for this reading vlog did not disappoint. Eyes on Me, in my opinion, is really hero focused. The ball is in Garrett's court because Mia has always pined for him. Even if that's made her feel foolish, even if she feels as though he would use that against her, and he definitely does. Garrett plays this game with her where he uses her desire against her as a guise to sort of satiate his own needs, which are really being fulfilled by Mia and haven't been for a very long time. I think I remember bringing up the fact that their time together at the lake house is almost like a new beginning in light of the intel that he has on her job. And also, I'll say, I like the overall commentary on sex work. At least for Mia, I like that she mentions how being a cam girl allows her to be in control when it comes to her interactions with men and how that makes her feel empowered. And I really, really enjoyed that. And how she's willing to hang it up if circumstances align in such a way. But I'm going to backtrack a little bit and just say that I do believe that this is hero focused because it's really up to Garrett if he's going to do the work to leap over the mental hangups that he has that are visceral and real. And this is really about Mia coming live to the ways in which he has always been there in terms of his feelings, how he's always protected her, seeing things through his eyes because there's an age gap between them. And he's sort of been protecting her. This isn't new. And so the game that he sort of plays with her in terms of pitting her desires against her, that part of this, the way that this steam is so monumental for this hero for romance reasons, I really, really, really loved. And I will say, she does sort of corner him into recognizing what they have, or at least what the loss of it would be.
And yeah, you know, the third act conflict does go down. I won't say anything about that, but I like that we got to see characters that we met in the last book. I like that Garrett does have a good support system and how they show up for him. And again, I like that he doesn't drown because of this found family, because of Mia, and because of that support system. So there's a lot of things that are bound up in this. It is sort of heavy in a way, but I like what he finds in her when he finally is able to get out of his own way. I really enjoyed the author's note that's at the end of this. Because I really felt that. I'm going to read some of it because I'm annoying that way. I mean, I'm always going to find a way to pull out a quote here or reference. I like when she says, "If you gather anything from this book, I hope you know that you can be funny, sometimes a little sad, sexy and emotional, horny and anxious, the life of the party and the one holding the most secrets, or any combination really. The most important thing is that you just keep being. Never let the storm win. I love you all immensely, and I hope for 1 second while reading Eyes on Me, you felt that you are not alone." Definitely felt that. Definitely loved the representation of depression, that dysthymia, that low grade undercurrent that is insidious and makes all else melancholy. That one can still be functional, that one can still be the life of the party and still not have that will at all times. And so I really appreciated that. I think that's the eye and the lens through which I was reading this, and I'm glad that he was able to find love. And, you know, the whole dynamic between them, her being his stepsister, like, he does weigh those pros and cons. It's not solely a guy's, you know. I think that it takes a minute for like him to really get past the veil that has really allowed them to connect. So I enjoyed this. I'm rating it a 4.5, and I think that's it. This is like an epic trip. I want to thank you for joining me. Please consider subscribing and sticking around, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.